Yo, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to take a look at some of my favorite plays for the Friday night slate, NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for November the 1st. We're going to talk through some of the guys that I like today, just looking through the slate the night before. Before we do get started, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on this video. As always, that is greatly appreciated. Feel free to leave any comments down below in the comment section. If you just have any comments regarding this slate you want to say, if there's some guys that stand out to you that you see that you feel like you're going to be playing, you can always comment that down below. I'll be sure to reply and give my thoughts to your comment. I try and reply to every comment down in the comment section. You can also leave any feedback as well. Feedback's always appreciated. If you have questions, you can comment that down below as well. And if you are new to the channel, if you have not subscribed yet, I would greatly appreciate it if you would click that subscribe button. Also, be sure to hit the notification bell so that way you get notified every time I upload. You'll never miss out on any of my new videos if you do that. So let's go ahead and take a look at this 8-game slate for Friday night. It's definitely interesting. We got a lot of studs at the top. There's going to be a lot of value on the slate, I feel like, especially from certain teams. Nailing those value plays is probably going to be what causes you to either win or lose on this slate. So I'll be sure to talk through some of those values as we go throughout the video. Just before we do get started with the picks, I want to take a look at some key injuries and situations to watch as of Thursday night. So we got two pretty big ones I think we're going to need to watch going into Friday's slate. So one of them is Jaylen Brown. He is questionable as of Thursday. He did not play on Wednesday. Marcus Smart entered the starting lineup on Wednesday and played 39 minutes against the Bucks, scored 37.5 DraftKings points. I think he would be another value play, another strong value play again. I did play him on that Wednesday night slate. Once Jaylen Brown got ruled out, I think he was going to be a clear value. He was like 4,500 on that slate. I believe his matchup was against the Bucks. I believe it was against the Bucks. I thought he was pretty good value. I think going into Friday night slate, if Jaylen Brown's out again, Marcus Smart on DraftKings is still really cheap at 4,900. So I would definitely be going back to Marcus Smart if Jaylen Brown is out. Jason Tatum was also a guy that I was pretty high on once Jaylen Brown got ruled out. He disappointed last game, only went for like 32 or 35 DraftKings points, something like that. But his price tag didn't really get adjusted. He's still only 7K on DraftKings. I think on the last slate he was like 6,800. He's going to be a big beneficiary with Brown out. So Jason Tatum for 7K would be a very strong option as well. It is a great matchup for the Celtics here, getting to face the Knicks. We know the Knicks are going to be a terrible basketball team this season. They're going to be really bad defensively. So definitely keep an eye on that Jaylen Brown news. If he is out again, I think Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum both become really good options. If Jaylen Brown plays, then I don't really have any interest in like any Celtics. But the other one we're going to need to watch is the Miles Turner injury. So Miles Turner's already been ruled out. He's going to be out for at least, I believe, a couple weeks. I think it's going to be very interesting to see who the Pacers start today. They are facing the Cavs, and the Cavs do have a very big front court. They have Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love, who they both start alongside each other. Obviously, Domantas Sabonis is going to start, but I'm not sure if they're going to start Sabonis at center and then maybe shift T.J. Warren to power forward, or if somebody like, I don't even know who they have as backups, maybe like T.J. Leaf, or they have a backup center. I don't know exactly what his name is, but I know he hasn't played a ton of minutes this season. There could definitely be some value, though, from this Pacers team, depending on who gets the start in place of Miles Turner. Maybe they just like shift their lineup down and Turner's or T.J. Warren starts at power forward and Sabonis starts at center. But if you get someone like T.J. Leaf starting at power forward, he's only like 3,100 on DraftKings, could maybe be a good value. I think Sabonis is going to benefit tremendously from Miles Turner out. But you'll see later in the video, I didn't include a Sabonis in my DraftKings picks because on DraftKings they adjusted his price all the way up to 8,700. But we will talk about him on Yahoo, where I think he's really cheap. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the picks for today since we pretty much covered all the injuries to watch. So heading into the slate, I really like Kyrie Irving. I think he's one of the guys that really stands out to me on both sides. Kyrie's 9K on DraftKings. He's $45 on Yahoo. This is definitely going to be the game to target today. Right now, this Rockets-Nets game has a 240 total and a 3-point spread, so it's projected to be very high scoring. It's also projected to be a close game as well. Kyrie's been absolutely awesome for the Nets so far this season. He's doing exactly what we thought he would do. He's going out there and chucking, taking 20, 25 shots a game. He's contributing in other categories as well, contributing with assists, rebounds. He's getting the peripherals. I wouldn't say he's a threat for a triple-double, but you could definitely get like a 37-6 game from Kyrie Irving. He's pretty much averaged 50 DraftKings points per game so far this season. I think we get another 50 burger from Kyrie, if not better, or if not a better performance. I think at 9K and 45 on Yahoo, he's just too cheap today. The backcourt defense of the Rockets does not scare me at all. Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Both are not very good defenders. I do expect the Rockets to be pretty bad defensively versus point guards and shooting guards this season. So I really like Kyrie here. I think he's a very strong play. I think he's one of the studs I'm definitely going to be targeting today. And the fact that he's $9K, he's like $2,000 cheaper than Harden. He's almost $1,000 cheaper than Westbrook. He's the guy that I like today, especially if we don't get a ton of value. Getting those savings off the top studs is going to be pretty key. But now I do want to talk about a value play. Small forward, power forward, Glenn Robinson, $4,000 on DraftKings, minimum salary on Yahoo. So I think this is going to be one of the hardest decisions to make today is what do we do with all this Warriors value. So right now the Warriors are incredibly thin. They're without Steph Curry. They're without Klay Thompson. We know Kevin Durant's no longer on the team. Boogie Cousins no longer on the team. Those are 4 very high usage players no longer on this team. That pretty much leaves Draymond Green, D'Angelo Russell, Willie Cauley-Stein, and then like just a bunch of scrubs on this Warriors team. The Warriors are going to be very bad this season, especially now that they don't have Curry. I doubt they make the playoffs. They're probably going to be one of the worst teams in the West. So I think there's going to be a lot of value from this Warriors team, at least as of now, while all these guys are still very cheap on DraftKings. Glenn Robinson's still $4K. He's been seeing pretty solid minutes just these last few games. He's played at least 30 minutes in 3 of the 4 games so far this season for the Warriors. I think he was one of the biggest beneficiaries after Curry went down. He started chucking up a ton of shots. Anytime you get Curry off the floor, I mean, that's going to open up a ton of shots for everyone in this Warriors offense. Curry is obviously a very high usage player, a guy that's going to take a ton of shots when he's on the floor. So getting him off the floor opens up shots for Robinson. Obviously, D'Angelo Russell's going to benefit big time from Curry being off the floor. But DraftKings did a very good job of bumping up D'Angelo Russell's price up to like $8,900. I don't think I'm going to be on Russell today at that price tag. Draymond Green, we know he's not much of a shot taker or shot maker, but he can facilitate an offense. I think his assists are going to go up with Curry off the floor. He's still pretty cheap. I mean, he's like $7,500 or $7,600 on DraftKings. So maybe you could go there. But I think if I'm going to be targeting guys from the Warriors today, it's going to be these cheap guys. I mean, there's so much value on this team. Robinson's very cheap. Alec Burks maybe could be a value. Poole, Damian Lee, like all these guys are going to have to play minutes, and they're all like 4K and below on DraftKings. So whatever you do with this Warriors value, whether you get it right or wrong, I think is probably going to be what decides the slate. It's going to be very interesting to see who's going to be chalky from the Warriors, if there is going to be any high-owned guys. I have a feeling Robinson's going to be pretty popular because he's already been playing well, and now with Curry going out, you would only expect him to play even better and just to see more shot volume. So Robinson's probably the guy I feel the safest about. I feel the safest about his minutes as well. But there's obviously other guys you could target from the Warriors. I know, I think his name's Eric Pascal. He had like a big game last game with Curry. After Curry went down, he went for like 20 points. I think he actually had a double-double maybe. I can't remember, but maybe you could go there. I think he's $4,700 on DraftKings. But if I have to just choose one value play from the Warriors, I think Glenn Robinson's my guy at $4K and $10 on Yahoo. But now we're going to take a look at another stud, Andre Drummond at the center position. I really like at the top. He's $9,500 on DraftKings, $48 on Yahoo. So this is absolutely a smash spot for Andre Drummond. Getting to face the Bulls. The Bulls have been one of the worst rebounding teams so far this season. We saw what Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson did to them in their last game. I think Kevin Love had 20 rebounds and Tristan Thompson had like 15 rebounds. I have a pretty good feeling Drummond's going to go for 20 and 20 today. I think he can get there if he gets the points. I'm pretty confident he's going to be able to get there with the rebounds because of how bad this Bulls team is rebounding-wise. So I absolutely love this spot for Drummond. He's locked into huge minutes every night. That's what we want from our stud players. We want those studs that are going to play 36, 38 minutes in competitive games, and that's what Drummond is doing. We know he's going to put up big numbers as well with Blake Griffin off the floor. Drummond's rebounding percentage increases with Blake off the floor. He's just a more productive fantasy player overall. There should be enough value on the slate to where we can pay up for multiple studs. If you want to get Kyrie and Drummond together, you should be able to do it pretty easily. Just with that Warriors value we have, there's injuries we're going to have to watch that can maybe open up even more value, and you never know what could break on Friday. There's probably going to be some injuries that happen on Friday. Guys will maybe just skip shoot around, won't play. That'll open up even more value. So love Andre Drummond as another stud option today at the center position. This is going to be a Yahoo-specific play at point guard. Malcolm Brogdon is still underpriced on Yahoo, in my opinion, at $33. So DraftKings has finally priced him up. I did tweet out saying, like, when is DraftKings going to appropriately price Malcolm Brogdon? They finally did. He's up to $8,800 on DraftKings. I think he's a fine play, but he's definitely not like a smash play like he has been these last few slates. But over on Yahoo, where he's only $33, I will definitely be smashing him over there. I think he's just way too cheap. He probably projects for upper 40s to low 50s in fantasy points. And at $33, that's just way too cheap for Brogdon. I mean, not much more needs to be said about Brogdon so far. The dude's an absolute stud. He's going to continue to put up these big numbers every night, especially with no Oladipo, with no Turner as well. I mean, it's going to be Brogdon and Sabonis doing a lot of the heavy lifting for the Pacers these next couple weeks. So love Malcolm Brogdon. Great matchup against a terrible Cavs team. Very bad Cavs defense. Brogdon, a very strong play on Yahoo today. More of a Yahoo-specific play, but I guess if you want to play him on DraftKings, you can. But I do prefer him over on Yahoo. Now we're going to take a look at Rashad Holmes, power forward center on DraftKings, $5,500. Over on Yahoo, he's pretty cheap at $15. So I was very high on Holmes in the last slate. I believe it was on Wednesday where he played, on Wednesday night when they played the Hornets. I thought there was a pretty good chance after he had that big game that he would wind up starting the next game over Dwayne Dedmon, and that was the case. We did get the starting lineup for the Kings late Wednesday night, and Rashad Holmes was starting over Dedmon. I tweeted out that you guys should totally be playing him, that you guys should smash him in there. You should have had a ton of Rashad Holmes in that late slate. He played 35 minutes, put up 39.25 DraftKings points, so point per minute. I mean, he's always been a good point per minute player. This is a tougher matchup against the Jazz. I mean, the Jazz are one of the best defensive teams versus centers. Rudy Gobert has always been a great defensive center. Pretty much went from best possible matchup versus the Hornets to worst possible matchup here. But Rashad Holmes is still such a productive player, such a good point per minute player that I think even in a tough matchup, he can definitely come through, especially at these price tags. I mean, $5,500 and $15 is just too cheap for Rashad Holmes if he's going to continue to play 30-plus minutes every night, which it seems like he's pretty much locked into now. He's going to be the starter moving forward. Should be locked into 30 minutes or more if he can stay out of foul trouble. So, love Rashad Holmes. $5,500 on DraftKings, $15 on Yahoo, too cheap. Love that you can play him at power forward on DraftKings. That makes him very appealing because you can definitely get him in there with Andre Drummond if you want to do that. But now we're going to take a look at Derrick White, point guard, shooting guard on DraftKings, $5,200 on Yahoo, $15. So we have already got the news that Dejounte Murray is expected to rest today. He's going to play on Thursday. The Spurs are in a back-to-back, so Murray is going to wind up resting on Friday. I would imagine that means that Derrick White is going to start at point guard. White was already getting pretty solid run off the bench. He was playing about 22 to 25 minutes off the bench. But now with Murray out, and now that he's most likely going to be starting, I think it's very likely he gets 30 minutes or more in this game, especially if it winds up being a competitive game. Right now it's just a 6-point spread, which is pretty surprising. With how bad this Warriors team is, I expect them to be pretty big underdogs pretty much every game they play in, but only 6-point dogs here. This game is projected to stay close. I think Derrick White makes a lot of sense at $5,200 and $15, especially if he does wind up starting. Great matchup. The Warriors have been terrible defensively this season. They're going to be terrible defensively rest of season, so love Derrick White here. I think he should definitely benefit today from Dejounte Murray being out. But now we're going to take a look at another Yahoo-specific play, another Pacer. Domantas Sabonis at power forward on Yahoo, only $32. I like a lot. So very similar to Malcolm Brogdon, Sabonis is also too cheap on Yahoo. DraftKings did do a good job of pricing him up for Miles Turner being out. Sabonis is priced up to $8,700. I think you could still play him over there, but obviously he's not as good of an option when he's $8,700. You pretty much need him to go for 50 DraftKings points to even be a good play at that price tag. I'd probably project him for like mid to high 40s in fantasy points. So I don't know if he's worth it at $8,700 on DK, but where he's 32 on Yahoo, that's still way too cheap. I do imagine that he will be the starting center here with Miles Turner out. They're probably going to start him at center. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it's going to be very interesting to see who they decide to start at power forward. But with Sabonis starting at center, that should help his rebounding chances, rebounding opportunities. Taking a big guy like Turner off the floor can only help Sabonis in terms of grabbing boards. He's pretty much locked into huge minutes every night in competitive games. Feels like an absolute lock to get 20 and 10 here. He's a great play on Yahoo and definitely a guy that I will be smashing over there at the power forward position. But now the last guy we're going to talk about is a cheap value play. Small forward, power forward on DraftKings, Daniel House, $4K, $10 on Yahoo, another minimum salary guy. So I'm going to be going right back to this game. This is the premier game to target here. Some good value pieces that you can find in this game, especially on the Rockets side. Starting off with Daniel House, I do like him a lot as a cheap value. He is pretty much locked into 28 to 30 minutes a night. And it's hard to find guys 4K and below that are locked into those kind of minutes. House is, Eric Gordon is as well. I did want to talk about Eric Gordon. I think he's another guy you could look to for value. I believe him and House are the same price. I don't know if I'd play both guys together, but I think you can definitely play one or the other. I slightly prefer House just because he's been more consistent this season. He's also the starter as well. But if you do want to consider Gordon, you could definitely play Gordon coming off the bench. He's pretty much locked into 30 minutes a night as well. But this is just a fast-paced game with a high total, close spread. That's what we want to target in NBA DFS, these fast-paced games, and this is definitely going to be one of them. This Brooklyn-Houston game, you got two of the top 5 teams in pace, or at least top 10, I believe. I really like this game to target. Love Daniel House. James Harden's a great play today. Kyrie Irving's a great play. You could also target Russell Westbrook. Eric Gordon's a really good value. There's just so many good plays in this game, and House and Irving are definitely two of my favorites. But that's pretty much it for the picks today, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. Good luck on Friday night. I do appreciate you watching. You'll notice on the screen right now, I do have one of my more recent videos popping up on the screen. If you want to check that video out, I really appreciate it. You can also hover over my YouTube logo to subscribe to the channel. And if you have not already, feel free to leave any comments, any questions, any feedback down below in the comments section. Always appreciate you guys' comments and feedback. But good luck tonight, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.